Good morning, YouTube. I'm back down here with the Prelude, and we're getting some work done on it. I just bolted the hood on. Believe it or not, that thing wasn't even bolted on, so I could get it to open. And just want to show you guys the condition. You know, kind of document this thing start to finish, because it is grody. Grody, gross, nasty, just real bad. Let's get started. All right. What I'm doing here is pressurized air, of course, and just look at how this thing was left sitting. Oh, look, HID boxes, I believe. Fancy lights. That's the cool thing about getting a car like this, you guys, is, you know, as you go through, everything's kind of a treasure. Maybe those suck, maybe they're good, who knows? Maybe they don't work. Maybe they're, you know, like the S2000 steering. The S2K steering wheel was unexpected when I went and looked at the car in the first place. So while I'm kind of showing you just how bad this is, I already air blew the back here, but it was just, look at the trunk, look at all those confetti peanuts, and somebody was running Mobil 1 full synthetic. That's good. Oh look, an amplifier, car audio, SPX audio. Not familiar with that brand. I'm familiar with MTX. It kind of looks like the same sort of insignia. But no, that's probably some Chinese garbage, who knows. And then this is the rust. This is the worst rust. This is basically the only rust in the whole car. This little spot right here, about the size of my pinky. Once I go to fix it, it'll of course spread back here. I'll have to weld in a patch that I'm gonna make actually out of a panel from another car. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned to watch that. And I actually found a much nicer, much cleaner version of this car, a little bit older and a little bit more miles, in my travels today, that runs and drives, is for sale, under 2,000 bucks. White, I'll put pictures in this video, but white, old lady owned, and the top end makes a bunch of noise. So I think I'm the buyer for that car. I don't think anybody else is gonna really want it and be hot for it. It's clean, you guys, no rust. BB6 Prelude, exactly what I've been looking for. I was ready to spend twice that amount of money, and I've got a brand new head for that engine, as you well know. So I get that car back here and it happens to need the whole dang thing instead of just a valve adjustment. It sounds like valve lash, really, the noise. But 222,000, that's pretty well expected. So we'll try the valve lash, we'll try a new timing belt and stuff, and if that don't work, I'll slap the new head on it. No big deal. Providing that car's still there in a few weeks when I have the dough to get it. So let's get back to air blowing. Stop blabbing. Yeah, this is just, while I'm air blowing, I'm actually looking for missing nuts and bolts along the way. So every time something hard moves around like that rock there, that's what I think happened, but nope, it's a rock. I did find a couple of the chassis bolts there, a couple back there, and I'm just trying to match up everything before I try to get that thing up in the air and together. The chassis from that car wasn't identical, so it doesn't help me quite as much as I was hoping for. Hey, look, new Jesse James Nina Lowe's vice grips found in the car. See, everything's a treasure, and they work. Unbelievable. Yeah, let me get back to it. I'm gonna bring you guys out to the parts trailer where I've got this whole shelving's H22 from like here down. There's the radiator and stuff. I got some brake calipers that look to be new, but you know, surface rust good. I'm gonna just say what I got so that way I can watch this video later and recap. It looks like the lower part of the exhaust manifold, I don't know if that's a factory one or aftermarket. It looks factory. So I've of that. I don't have the upper. I've got engine, the cradle. I've got both cams there. All this H22 stuff. Got the clutch, the crankshaft's here in this box. Kind of gasket, VTEC solenoid, this box. marked H22. I believe there might be some miscellaneous bolts in here. I'm still looking for those long subframe bolts. So, yeah, good times. Oh, wait, if there's a power steering pump there, and what's that power steering pump there? Looks like I got duplicate parts. There's the coil. So probably one of these doesn't fit this car. Who knows? There's the reservoir. Yeah. Real quick, these are the pistons from that H22 engine. And I'm actually missing one bearing cap anyways that I haven't found yet. And I might still have it in these boxes of parts. But more importantly, just wanted to make a quick note. I think it's this piston here. Nope. Yep. See that crack right there? Right there. That's not supposed to be there. That's a ring landing. And this piston can probably still be run. However, this is number 4 that way. I'm not going to run that piston. I found lots of sets of used pistons and individual pistons and rods and things of that nature on, eBay for like $50 or whatever. So just to get this motor back together for cheap, I think that's probably what I'll do, is just throw a stock piston and rod in it and combine, what I've got here that are good, that piston and, that rod. And yeah, that should get the car back on the road on the super cheap. So here we have the front and rear subframe bolted in. Real simple. 4 bolts, one there, 2 more over there. This one back here is super long. It's the longest bolt that I found in the car, and you can tell that by when you go to thread them in, there's just the same amount of space left over here and here, even though both bolts were unequal lengths. I was lucky and one of the bolts was still installed here, so I know exactly which 2 bolts go there. And then these 4 bolts here actually are stolen from the EF parts bin, because they just happen to be the exact right length to hold this subframe in. Now I gotta bolt these control arms to those lateral bars, or whatever you wanna call that. It's like a traction bar, but factory. Then I can put the spindles in. I think I need that upper control arm. Somebody cut that with a die grinder. The threads on this tie rod don't look that good. So that's what this car's in here for. A lot of those parts are exactly the same. I'll be robbing parts throughout. This one looks okay. And I was missing this one long bolt back here I'm still looking for. So with all the parts that I separated out of the bag here, I got the 4 pistons in here because I plan to soak those in diesel fuel to remove all this carbon and look for more cracks. Before I make a decision on these pistons, whether I'm gonna replace 1 and 1 rod, or buy a whole set, or just go crazy, I don't know. I'd like to get out of this really cheap though. So soak those in diesel fuel, get them cleaned up, really look at them closely. This is all the bolts that I found in that bag, and I've got them kind of separated by length. These look like head bolts for not this motor. They look like D16 head bolts, or maybe some different kind of car altogether. These are H22 head bolts, super duper long. There's only 2 of those. I've got head studs for when the time comes for all that. But anyways, ARP ones. Yeah, these are the other 4 EF chassis bolts that I didn't use yet. Nice to have a donor pile of bolts in a donor car, or several donor cars here, to put this thing back together. So pretty excited, making some pretty good forward progress. That took an hour to sort out all that and get those 2 members up there and make this thing start to become a car. Okay guys, so it's the next morning now. I got stopped by a control arm last night and misinformed about the TL control arms and the Prelude control arms being the same. They are not. These 2 cars are almost the same year, and I'll explain that to you here in a minute, but let's take a look and see how far I got. So here we go, the underside of the Prelude here. Got the control arms bolted in, those lateral arms, the subframe, the shocks and struts are just kind of hanging out there because I was trying to push the broom. All that stuff came out from under the hood with the air blower. And I was on a pretty good run putting this thing back together. My goal was to get the spindles on so I could bolt all 4 wheels to the car. So that way if I had to roll it outside to work on other cars, I could. However, I was stopped. And this is the reason why. On your left, we have the Honda Prelude factory control arm. On the right, you have the Acura TL upper control arm. And you can just, if I stand like this, you can see clear, huge, wide differences. And this control arm, even with a bad ball joint, I would have bolted it in just to get rolling around, but somebody cut with a die grinder. It was obviously stuck. So yeah, maybe the ball joint itself is the same. I don't think that I'll be pressing those out or whatever though. These things are like 25 bucks new, or you can buy a whole suspension kit for like 150 bucks. That gives you like inner and outer tie rods, sway links, upper control arms, you know, the works. And I need sway links anyways. I need tie rods anyways. So maybe I'll do that. But for now, the car's kind of stuck in here. And I really would like to do something, even if it's temporary, to get the wheels bolted on this car. So that's where I'm at. I got the Acura over on this lift because I am going to pull the J32 before it goes away. And it had brand new front struts. And if you look back here, these are like lowered coils. And I do have the front ones to match. They were in the trunk of the car. Somebody obviously didn't like them. And they were trying to go back to the factory suspension like that. And then maybe they realized, boy, the car's just not worth putting all this money into, and stopped. So lucky for me, I've got some brand new front ones and some all 4-way around lowered ones. That I probably won't like either. So this thing didn't help me near as much as I thought it was going to. I will put the pictures, if I can figure it out, in this video of that Prelude I found yesterday. If I can block out the phone number or whatever. I don't want anybody buying it before I go get it. But yeah, that looks like, if that car's still there, that'll be a serious, something to seriously think about. Where these cars are $4,000 and $5,000 and $6,000, and then that one has some motor work to be done likely, but the price, I mean, yeah, and I do motor work, so whatever. So at any rate, I'm just gonna cut this video here, guys, and send it out. I know I didn't do a whole lot more, but I got real work to do. Not even really real work to do. Some squirrels chewed up the rubber hose. See that? That's the connector hose that goes from one wiper nozzle to the other under the hood. Maybe I should have filmed that. I don't know. It's a Honda CR-V, but it's just a product of the car sitting around. At any rate, have a good day and a better tomorrow.